Hi, and welcome to Coach's Corner, where systems matter and both personal and professional learning and development is beneficial for everyone and essential for some. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Let's get started.
So now I want to talk about job versus career.
Yeah.
So first, what is the difference or the difference in your mind between a job and a career?
Yeah, I think there's a big difference in, doing the after-school program. Most of those were jobs, right? And so a job is something that you go and do. Usually it's for a short period of time, So I'm not saying you can't make a career out of fast food. I'm not saying you can't make a career, now you can, out of after-school programming. But at the time, it was a lot of college kids that needed a job. And then later on, it would become their career. So we actually hired one time like 70 people from a high school, and 20 of those wound up teaching in our district. And we hired them for the after-school program. And so then they wound up doing that. So, to me, that's a job, is more short-term or whatever. And a career is, something that's, you're going to do for pretty much your whole life or for a long time, even if it's at a different spot. I always tell people, my classroom has changed, but my purpose and passion has not. So if I'm a nurse, I could be at this hospital, that classroom, on the west side for 20 years, but then maybe I move to the north side because, but it's still a nursing career.
Right. Got it. Well, that was going to be my second question is, can you make a job into a career? Would you say that? Because, let's say working at a fast food, could you make that into a career?
Absolutely.
Or is it still just a long-term job?
I don't think so. I think a lot of those things can be a career. So let's take my wife, for example. She's the longest tenured person in the school district. And so she has 32 years, I think, in the school district. It started as a job for her. She was the aide for daycare. So there was the daycare, the head person, and then there was the aide.
Okay.
Well, just, as God would have it, this gal becomes a counselor because she had all of her credentials within the first month. So she gets a raise in the first month, right? She's 18 years old. Yeah. She becomes the top dog within there. Okay. So then there was a coordinator that did all of the daycares. Yeah. And I forget the exact terminology, but my wife was, the lead of that one school because there was at several schools. Well, then after 2 or 3 years, the gal left and another gal came in. Well, then in 2 months, this gal left, and my wife got she got the coordinating job. Okay. And then since then, she supervised several different programs and different things of that nature. Yeah. So, my wife isn't as intentional as I would be. Right. And so she just was like, I need a job and I like kids. And it just turned out to be an amazing career for her. Right. Whereas me, I'm plotting and planning and systematizing, and when I'm in fourth grade, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a coach, I'm going to all the above. But in the end, that's why I tell people, when you put it all in the smoothie, it comes out in the wash the way it probably should be.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. What is, I don't want to say the worst or something, but what is something that people might not think about, or something, let's say, using your wife, for example,
You mean your mom?
Yeah, my mom. Yeah.
Don't be talking about your mama now.
Let's say that as far as she went was being the daycare supervisor.
Yeah.
And didn't go any higher.
Yeah.
What is something that people don't think about when they get to, let's say, 40 or 50 years old versus someone that's in a career? What are some differences there? Does that make sense?
No, I need you to elaborate on that.
So, for someone that has a career, they might have a pension plan and different things like that, versus someone in a job might not. Yeah. So, what are those differences that people might not think about at 20 years old because they really love this job?
Gotcha. Yeah, what you just said. Yeah. We call it benefits. Okay. So there's dental, there's vision, there's retirement, there's any and all the above. Right. Right. I mean, there's many people out there right now in YouTube audience land that maybe they don't have insurance, health insurance, or they don't have a retirement, or they don't have dental or vision or insurances like that. Yeah. And they know it. That's tough, man. Yeah. Same spot I'm in. Right? Yeah. But now my wife, she has it. So we don't get 100% paid for, but we get the majority of it. And that's those expenses are continuing to go up and crazy. But I think you answered your own question. I call them benefits in the form of insurances and retirement. And just on a sidebar too, because I was in the financial services business for a while, and still do a little bit on the side, but not as much. Think about, again, tradition. Back to tradition. So you were going to work in corporate America until you were 65. You were going to get a corporate pension, and then you were going to die at 72, because that's what was going on, right? And so you would never outlive your pension. So all of the big companies like Coca-Cola and all of that, they had pensions. Most companies don't have pensions anymore. They don't even match a 401k, let alone a pension.
Right.
So we're living longer due to modern medicine, 15 to 20 years. So what are you going to do about that as far as retirement goes?
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna be working until you're 90?
Yeah.
Is Social Security going to be there? They say it's not. It's supposed to implode.
Yeah.
And even if it's there, is it enough?
Right.
So that would be another thing, like if you said, hey, what are the 2 takeaways today? That would be one of them too, is make sure that if you're self-employed or you're a business owner or you're an entrepreneur, make sure that you're doing something for long-term savings, because as people that have been around for a while would already know, there's ups and downs on this thing. You can make $100,000 in a month, and then you may not make anything for a couple months. It can go up and down, and so you got to pull some of that out. Whereas a lot of people, I'm making $100,000 a month, but they're spending 110.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, in 3 years, they got a Mercedes, a boat, a yacht, 4 timeshares, and a partridge in a pear tree, and they're like in big trouble.
Right.
So I tell people, enjoy it.
Yeah.
But live well below your means.
Yeah.
You don't need to live way up here if you're making up here. You can, and it still can be a great living for you.
Absolutely. Got it. So when it comes to having I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. Because when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's true, because I know a lot of people that are like that.
Well, let's ask you. How old are you?
23.
23. Do you have retirement? Long-term retirement?
I do now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we tell people. It's like having your first child.
Mm-hmm.
There's never a good time to have a child. You just have the child and you make it work.
Yeah.
You burp it, you diaper it, you do all that. It's the same thing as long-term retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell people when I was, hot and heavy in that, so I don't care what you start with. Start with $25 a month. Mm-hmm. And then next year I'll come and talk to you and you can put in 50. Right?
Yeah.
Because do you make more money now than you did 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Do you make more money now than you did 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Will you make more money in 5 years than you do now?
Yes.
Right. So the point is starting the habit.
Right.
So now you're putting in probably $100 a month or so.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're good with savings.
Yeah.
But that's not long-term retirement.
No.
And I know you have your emergency fund.
Yeah.
I know you used to tithe. I don't know if you do anymore, but we lived on a 60-40 rule, right? So tithe 10% of your money, emergency fund 10% of your money, save 10% so that you can go and do stuff with it, and then we would have save it to where you can't touch it,
Right.
and then we had the high return accounts,
Yeah.
where we would go for it a little bit and see what happens. So that's how you were able to break it down, and that's what I think everybody should do. But if you don't have that long-term one, that set it and forget it, I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my friends that make big money. They're going to be working until they're 75, or if they get kicked out of, some of them are business owners and entrepreneurs, but some of them are employees. They may want to kick you out eventually. They're going to be at Walmart,
Right.
which maybe that's a great job, but I'm sure it doesn't pay tons.
Right.
Saying, hey, go here, do that. And if that's what you want to do, if that's by choice, going back to tradition, great. If it's choice, cool.
Right.
But if it's not choice, and that's what I think is important as well.
Yeah.
But we're getting a lot of nuggets today.
Yeah.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
So that was the question. So I just remembered the question.
I helped you. You're welcome on that.
When it comes to reaching a plateau,
Yeah.
Whether that's in a job or a career, what are some telltale signs that you finally reached that you can't go any higher, you can't do anything more to get higher?
Well, are you speaking financially and positional power, or both and?
We'll say both and, but originally it was just positionally.
No, positionally. Well, I mean, look at where I was at. So I think at one time I was probably top 10 in my school district.
Okay.
So there was the superintendent, and there was a couple assistant superintendents, and then there was, some I don't know what they called them, but coordinators or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there was my position, which was a program manager.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was maybe 10, 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Right. And I was making a good $100,000 a year with benefits and, the whole package.
Yeah.
And so where else do I have to go at that time?
Mm-hmm.
I already have 223 employees that I'm in charge of.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I've told you this before. My older brother, who's multi-millionaire,
Yeah.
he's like, dude, did you know you're the hardest working guy that I know? You work 12 hours a day and you're getting paid for 8.
Yeah.
And you have 223 people. Did you know that's like a small company of like Fortune 500 company? And the CEO of a company like that would be making in the millions.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking, because I never thought about money. I just thought about helping people.
Right.
But, as you get older and you go, oh, my kid's going to college and,
Yeah.
different things like that. I didn't want for more. Like, I didn't necessarily need a nicer house. I still buy, well, this one's a little bit more expensive because it's low. But, I buy $5 shirts or whatever. That's probably a little bit
Yeah.
expensive. But you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't about that, but you just start thinking differently into your 30s and 40s of like what's going on out there.
Right. Got it. So then, how would you tell financially that you brought that up that you've reached a plateau? Would it be the same or?
Well, look, I tell people all the time. So when I was like 22, 23,
Mm-hmm.
I had a long-term relationship with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been dating or married for almost 40 years. I met her when I was 15,
Okay.
and she was 13.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been dating or married since. I mean, off and on, different weird stuff, but for the most part, we've been dating or married ever since, right? So when you take a look at that, and can you ask that question again? I'm sorry, I went into la land too over here. I'm getting heat stroke.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience. I do that sometimes. I get going. The money part.
Financially reaching a plateau.
Yeah, and so we were. I was just finishing the credential program. I could only work 2 hours a day, so I got up at 4 a.m. I went and spent. I did daycare for 2 hours.
Yeah.
My wife's working full time as the whatever it's called, the head person of the daycare. I forget the title.
Okay.
Right? We were making $24,000 a year between the two of us, and she was making like 18 of it.
22.
Yeah, right. Because I'm doing that little job.
Right.
I went to school for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I did track on a scholarship that took 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
Right. So I'm working 18, and I had 18 units. So I'm working 18 hours a day.
Right.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I gotta rinse and repeat. But we didn't want to be like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So we saved $25,000, which is a crap ton of money back in
1900s.
Yeah, the caveman,
Yeah.
right? I think it was early 90s is what
Okay.
it was. But late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to be like our friends who were getting married before us. They all living in apartments. We said, no, we're going to live in a house and we're going to buy all of our stuff, all of our furniture and all that, So that's what we did.
Yeah.
So it's a long way of saying we made $25,000. We had a house and 2 cars.
Uh-huh.
Then we made $100,000 and we have a little nicer house, but not much better, and 2 cars. And then you have, where we're at now, and we still have, we actually went the other way. We said, we don't want a nice car or any of that stuff. We want to go the other direction because it's smarter.
Yeah.
Right? So when you take a look at that, where do you plateau? I don't know. Most people, they plateau and yet they're still spinning up here.
Uh-huh.
So I think it depends on your profession. But as an entrepreneur and as a businessman, there is no plateaus. Right. So as an employee, you're going to stop somewhere.
Right.
I mean, the highest paid guy in our district at the time, the superintendent, he was probably making $120,000 a year, which was a crap ton of money 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what they make now, probably 170, 180, I don't know, which is a great wage, right?
Yeah.
But you're still here.
Can't go any higher.
Yeah, business owners, you can double, triple, quadruple, 10 times, 100 times that because you can just keep on keeping on.
Right. Okay. Got it. Now, so we're gonna say from the time you were when you first had your first job to the time you were about 18, 19, what was
You mean for 18 years? I think I came out the womb and my mom and dad put me to work.
Yeah. What was your favorite job?
I don't look at it like that. Every experience that I had, whether it was a job or not, I felt like was, even at a very young age, it was helping me to hone my skills for the next job, so to speak.
Got it.
So when I was, 5 and doing chores around the house and getting paid,
Yeah.
that was my, the most fun job, right? And not really.
But yeah.
And then when I had the 3 paper routes when I was somewhere between 8 and 10 years old, now to me that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Everybody else was like, hey, you got to get up early and all that. But to me, it was competitive.
Mm-hmm.
How fast could, because my brother had his 3 paper routes too. So we'd get up in the morning, who could do the papers the fastest. And then, there's little nuances in there like, when it was raining, you didn't put them in rubber bands, which is how we did it.
Yeah.
You put them in the plastic, which was a whole nother thing. And then we used to race to get them out and then race back,
Yeah.
So to me, that was fun. I say I probably had 3 jobs my whole life. I think school's a job. It's 8 hours for most people. I had sports my whole life, which is, 2 to 4 hours a day, as you know.
Yeah.
And then I had my chores or an actual job, right? So for me, all of those things were experiences. And a lot of times in hindsight, I mean, I'm not thinking about at 5, like, oh, when I'm 40, how I'm learning to be competitive with this is going to help me up my store. But, it did.
Yeah.
And so to me, we just did. That's the way we were raised. And both my parents were farmers.
Yeah.
Or came from a farming background.
Yeah.
And 12-hour day was like, did we do anything today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I couldn't twist your arm to give me one of your favorites.
Man, favorite job. I mean, it's probably coaching. I enjoyed coaching you, even though I wanted to strangle you most of the time. But I enjoyed that. That was, amazing to see how far somebody could go. Maybe not even trying to maximize their full potential, but still a high maximization. I mean, you're third in the nation going against the only 2 guys that beat you were a 2-time national champ and a 1-time national champ. It's like Mahomes or Brady this weekend. Well, I mean, neither one's going to like to lose, but if you're going to lose, you might as well lose to one of those studs.
Right.
And that's what you did your senior year when you broke all those records. So, I enjoyed any of the coaching, especially the stories, but I wasn't a big like, oh, I enjoyed the job. I enjoyed like a story or the nuances or different things of that nature.
Right.
That's what I enjoyed more than, oh, I enjoyed this job. Or
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Gotcha.
If you need to contact Brett or Coach, please do so on his social media accounts, email, and or text. You can find that information in the description below. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Thanks, and we hope you enjoyed.
Zeus Sandus. Hey, Zeus Sandus. That was our dog.